Good morning, Jason. How are you?
Hi, how you doing?
Good. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
So, last time we spoke, we ended the session talking about how you were going to try to make some efforts towards becoming a little bit more organized with your business. Would you like to explain more, or has something else been happening that you'd like to talk about?
Um, as far as efforts with my business, it's still a lot. It's like a planning. I can't say planning because too much planning could be a downfall. But just straight to say, I haven't made any actions yet. So I'm still working on learning
Mm-hmm.
and identifying, but no strong actions as of yet. But I'm pretty sure by the end of this month of March that it something will turn up of action. But as far as new developments, the educational system is crazy today.
What do you mean by that? Could you elaborate, please?
So as of probably a few days ago, or probably yesterday, the law has been passed for teachers to carry guns in the state of Florida. Now, I have a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She's in pre-K right now, but what does that say for her future years? Elementary, middle school, high school. I don't even know if it goes up. I don't know in detail, but I don't know if it goes up to higher education. But blatant and simple is one thing to say, okay, you can protect my child. There's another. This is still the same thing saying you have to be 21 to buy a gun. But nobody's saying anything like I have to know, are you competent enough to control a weapon? Nobody is saying that. And that's what I think we all asking for. We're just asking for people who are competent enough
Mm-hmm.
just to be able to control a deadly weapon. Or, yeah, a deadly weapon of something that can cause death. Now, I know game hunters. they can they know the difference of how to use a weapon. And I can't really say it's a weapon for them. It's like a tool when they're hunting. They can use knives because they are game hunters that rather use bow and arrows and knives
Mm-hmm.
rather than a rifle. So it's essentially a tool for them. It's not a weapon. And you see the difference in the word. So for my daughter, I don't know. I just wanted her to go in homeschooling because I don't trust people. Let's just flat out. Let's all say it. We don't trust each other. We don't. We don't. And on top of that, we don't trust each other because we are all human. I have my moments.
Mm-hmm.
I can go crazy. At those moments, I should not be able to buy a gun. I myself should say that. Yes. Um, if you know me having a history of being an alcoholic, no, I'm not going to give you a gun. I give you a taser. you know, I give you a billy club. But I'm not giving you a weapon that I can instantly take away life because same way instantly it does that, you can't get it back. Most of the time, half of the time, not everybody is a deranged, crazy um, animal.
Okay.
Like, that's not a human characteristic. But that's how I feel about it.
So what I'm understanding is that the school incident that happened a couple weeks ago on February 14th here in Florida, it affected you and the future of your child.
Yeah, it affected me very wildly. Um, Even going way back to the Virginia Tech. Um, at the time, I wasn't sure what school my cousin was going to,
Mm-hmm.
but I was sure that that's the school he was going to. It wasn't. He was going to Virginia State. but they not too far from each other, so it's essentially on the same campus. So stuff like that, it it plays in your mind. Even Sandy Hook, that's close to home. Um, I was even in New Jersey, but Sandy Hook, that was an elementary school. That's very, very close to home, like in your heart. Like even elementary schools getting shot up, like that doesn't make sense. How upset can you be to go to a small child's school and shoot?
It's a lot to take in. It's a lot. Trust me. I understand it. It's mind boggling for me too. I have nieces and nephews, and they're all in different grades. So for me, it's scary as well because I don't know if somebody's going to attempt to hurt one of my niece or nephews.
Exactly.
So it's a scary situation all the way around. You never know what people are thinking. So I can relate with you on that topic. But as far as Florida passing laws that's allowing teachers
Yeah.
and school officials to carry guns, that seems to be a huge concern for you, especially with the history that you have. It being that you were afraid for your cousin with the Virginia Tech situation, and now you have a child that's essentially in elementary school, and that reminds you of the Sandy Hook incident.
Mm. And it's another thing. Like I've been to a high school where there's metal detections. Now there was just to bring it up to talk about people and young adults and teenagers. Um, the school that had metal detectors, obviously no knives or weapons was getting in,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess there was one utensil that I guess is prohibited now. I don't know. I don't know if it's still being used. A protractor. Remember, I had a needle point.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was stabbed in my school.
Really?
Yeah, I was what 10th grade when that happened, and it's the neighborhood, the environment that I grew up in. It was surprising in that moment, but it was familiar. You get what I'm saying? Violence is a familiarity in the environment that I grew up in. Now, Sandy Hook, Parkland, Virginia Tech, those are unfamiliar because they're not in the environment that I grew up in. They're in such, like, you would think they're in a peaceful environment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not normal.
I know a lot of people said that they had essentially moved to that area in Parkland because it was known as being one of the safest communities within the state of Florida. So you wouldn't expect something like that to happen.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the space program to start. I need to get out of here. It's crazy.
It is, unfortunately, today. Times are changing, and it's not how it used to be, I imagine.
Mm,
And then knowing that you grew up in a completely different environment doesn't help the situation.
yeah.
So, have you made any steps as far as what you're going to do with your child's education?
Well, okay, so my resources as of right now, I'm working for a communications company.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to build an online business. Um, I know next year my daughter's going to have to be in kindergarten. Excuse me. And it's me and my wife already set up where we are choosing which school she can go to, but it's a it's a school. It's a facility where these things are happening. So what I'm thinking about doing is homeschooling,
Okay.
and it's not that bad. Is I've looked it up, and there are many, 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 many programs, cultural wise, location wise. Is so many programs I could put my child into, and it's just one thing to have her home, and learning all day. She's young. She's not going to sit down for 8 hours of the day. So, the way I see it, she can have 3 to 4 hours of learning, if that, and the rest of the day just extracurricular activities, dance, karate, soccer, just to keep her busy and engaged. Especially a program where she get involved in her community. That's definitely something. So it's a plan and it's idea. The execution is like I have to have a proper resources financially. Those extracurricular activities can come up to a tuition straight up like that, $1,000 a month. Let's just say it, because thankfully that we have assistance for her daycare now. But if we didn't, we'd be paying, I guess, 500 a month just for daycare.
That's a lot.
So it was just it can be very financially straining. But it in this day and age it's needed. It's needed. Like you can't trust your neighbor because you're not in your neighbor's home, and that's where we all at today. And to get involved in your neighbor, you have your own stresses. And this country, I'm gonna say this country like I'm not born from it. They don't support the family unit anymore. That's why people go home with stress. That's why people come home with sickness from working so much. They don't teach creativity or discovery in the schools anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing but to vent out your stresses, whether it be emotional, physical, mental, spiritual stress. It's just putting out negative energy because that's what your existence in your body does. You have to cleanse yourself. But if we're polluted with all that stress, it's nothing but extinction is on the way. So it's just.
So let me ask you this. I see a slight conflict here.
Mm-hmm.
You previously stated that one of the problems with starting your own business was the money that's involved that you have to put into it.
Yep.
And now you're saying that if you decide to homeschool your daughter with your wife, there's going to have to be more money that's put into that. So you will have to, which would take more priority over in this situation? Would your daughter's education and her socialization skills take priority, or would the business?
Okay, well, the way I see it, if I can be frank, just putting it, there's a time clock now. Days are numbered. She's gonna start kindergarten, and for that, it's like, okay, let me try to get this done before she starts kindergarten. Get my business up and running, because like I've been reading, researching. As soon as you start that first sale, it only goes up from there. You can only I made my first sale. Okay, so let me repeat the process. Made another sale, and then change the price, make your products, make certain tweaks to make it better than what it was, and maintain repetition. Once I get that going, and I'm trying to get it going in the next 90 plus days, but within those 90 days, once I get it going, I can say we can start homeschooling and then really making contact with those programs, even if they're free and they have poor resources, whatever. I don't want my daughter to be in a facility where danger is around the corner.
Okay.
So like making steps to owning my own business has that priority, but I'm not putting all of my eggs in one basket right away. I need to see milestones completed.
So it seems like you are open
to do the first year. Kindergarten, it's cool. Kindergarten, you can do it, but not. I'm trying to really bog down in first grade and second grade. No, you doing that home. I'm sorry, can't do it.
Okay, and how does your wife feel about homeschooling your
She
daughter.
all for it, but just wants to make sure the money is there. Cause if the money's not there, it make no sense to be homeschooling.
Hmm.
Can't do nothing if you don't have the money to support all this.
Well, I'm glad that you guys are communicating with each other and figuring out what's best for your daughter and your future. I know that as a parent, it's not easy raising a child. There's no instruction book. And honestly, in this situation, I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer as far as to whether or not to homeschool your daughter. There's perks to homeschooling, and then there's cons to homeschooling. Just like it's perks for her to go to school, and then there's cons for her to go to the school. But the right answer would be what you see best. And you can always go back and alternate whatever track that you and your wife come up with. So if homeschooling isn't working, you can go back and look into something else.
Mm.
Or if having her in school isn't working, you can go back and see what little things you can change to make it work for you guys. So I'm
Mm.
glad that you are open and you're making considerations and
Yeah,
concerned about your daughter's future because she is our future.
yeah. They are, especially just the babies. I don't know about the teens, but the babies.
Well, it seems like we had a pretty productive session today.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in and sharing.
Yes.
I appreciate that. I know a lot of people are bothered by the Harkland situation.
Yeah. I already saw the solution is the execution. That's all. That's the execution. And if you can't, and if it's one of those things you can't do it yourself, that's the conflict. You
Mm-hmm.
need others to play along, and the government is not playing along whatsoever.
Yeah.
Uh, but okay,
All right. Well, I'll see you next time, okay?
okay.
All right. Bye.